Hey guys, this is part 2 of our review of quadratic functions. We are solving quadratic equations, we're factoring, we're completing the square. The fun just never stops. Now, you're probably practicing for some sort of a test. It's very important that you do not just copy off the video. Watch the video, see how to do a problem. But then go back and do the problems yourself. Better yet, once you feel like you're getting the hang of things, once you see the next problem show up on the screen, pause the video and try to do the problem by yourself first. And then hit play and see if you did it right. Okay, you will not really learn properly just by copying off the video. So don't do that. Okay, number 8. Solving this equation. Beautiful. Alright, when we're solving these things, we need to have 0 on one side, so we're trying to move this over. So let's add 12 to both sides, shall we? Okay, and that is going to give us x squared minus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. Now we're ready to factor. Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward factoring problem. X squared is going to be x times x. 12 is, well, 12 could be 3 times 4, or it could be 2 times 6, or it could be 1 times 12. However, because we have a leading coefficient of 1, we can immediately look for the 7, the negative 7. So that's why I'm liking the 3 and 4 option. So let's do that. 3 times 4 makes 7. Now inner plus outer equals middle, as you know. Inner I have 3x, outer I have 4x. That has to give me a middle of negative 7. To make negative 7, both of these would have to be negative. That means both of these would be negative. Luckily, that will give me negative 12. A negative times a negative is a positive. So this is the factorization. However, we're not finished yet. We now need to take these factors and set them equal to 0. So we need to do x minus 3 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, adding 3 to both sides gives us x equals 3. Adding 4 to both sides gives us x equals 4. These are the solutions. So 3 and 4. Oh look, that's the first option, F. Always use capital letters on a multiple choice test. Number 9. So for number 9, we let's just get x by itself and take the square root. So I say divide both sides by 2. So that's going to give me x squared equals 9. Now let's take the square root. Alright, so if we take the square root of both sides, don't forget your plus or minus. Very important. Okay, so that's going to give me x equals plus or minus 3. And please remember that that means 3 or negative 3. Alright, that's what plus or minus 3 means. So x equals 3 is not the best option. Okay, we want the 3 or the negative 3. Alright, that's D. Alright, so the answer is D. Okay. What are they asking here? What value should go in each blank to solve by completing the square? Remember, completing the square, that's the thing where we do half the middle and then we square it. That's how we complete the square. Half the middle squared. Okay, so completing the square. So they've already done that step for us, where you where you add 4 to both sides to move that over. They've already done that. So this is the part where we do half the middle squared. So half of this is 6. Alright, and then 6 squared is 36. And we have to put 36 on the other side to balance it out. So 36 and 36. Alright, so that's H. Very nice. Okay, number 11. Solve the following problems. Show your work. Write your final answer on the line. Yeah, of course. Alright, another solve by completing the square problem. Brilliant. So, if we're going to complete the square, then first we need to move this number out of the way. So we subtract 13 from both sides. So that's going to give us x squared minus 10x, we'll leave a space, is equal to negative 13. And once again, completing the square. That's where we do half the middle squared. Okay, half of this is 5, or negative 5, depending on how you look at it. Either way, when you square it, you get 25. Okay, so half the middle squared. Half of this is 5, 5 squared, so we're going to get 25. So we put plus 25 right here. A common mistake is just to do that and keep going and just leave the negative 13. So maybe you made that mistake if you took this test before. But hopefully you won't make that mistake ever again. If you add 25 on the left, you have to add 25 on the right to balance out the change. Okay, so that's what we should have. Now, the point of completing the square is so we can factor this as the same thing twice. So this should always factor as the same thing twice. X squared, of course, is x times x. 25 is going to be 5 times 5. And you see a negative 10, so you know it needs to be negative 5 and negative 5 to make negative 10. Okay, and you know, negative times negative is a positive, so that's cool. If you add these up, this is going to be 12. Alright, negative 13 and 25 is 12. Alright, because it is the same thing twice, we can write this as x minus 5 squared equals 12. Okay, now we can unsquare this by taking the square root of both sides. Alright, don't forget your plus or minus on the 12. Okay, let's bring this over to the other side now. Alright, so this is now unsquared. So I'm going to just have x minus 5 equals plus or minus. Now we need to simplify this square root of 12. Alright, let's use our calculator. Alright, square root of 12. 2 radical 3. 2 radical 3. Now we need to get x by itself. So let's go ahead and add 5 to both sides. Okay, let's put that 5 in the front. Whenever you have a plus or minus expression, if you add or subtract something, it goes in the front. So that's going to give us x equals 5 plus or minus 2 radical 3. Okay, and please understand that this means 5 plus 2 radical 3 or 5 minus 2 radical 3. And I would like you to separate your answers that way. Because we have a 5 plus 2 radical 3, These are not like terms. They can't be added. It's not going to make 7 radical 3 or anything like that. So this is the final answer. Alright, let's take a look at number 12. Alright, for number 12, what value of c makes this factorable? And no, c does not have to be positive just because this is a plus right here. So look, we're talking about factoring. You see this trinomial, so imagine it in factored form. Okay, so we're trying to factor this. We're trying to get c somehow. So x squared can only be x times x. Now the key is that the inner plus the outer has to give you the middle. This is the key to the whole ball game. Alright? We have to get a negative 3x out of this somehow. So start thinking about your inner, let me change colors. Alright, your inner plus your outer, okay, have to give you the middle. Alright, inner, outer equals middle. So if I want to get a negative 3x, just start thinking of ways you could get that. For example, I could get that by doing negative 2x and negative 1x. That's one way I could do it. Alright, well, if the inner is going to be negative 2x, then this would have to be negative 2. Okay, that would make negative 2x. If the outer was going to be negative 1x, then this would have to be negative 1. Alright, that would give me an outer of negative 1x. Okay, but then the c value is what you get when you multiply these two together. So negative 2 times negative 1, that would be positive 2. So that would make my c value be positive 2. And the factored form, we just came up with it. So x minus 2 times x minus 1. Okay, so that's one answer, one of many answers. Alright, let's do another one. Alright, it's like a little game. It's fun. Alright, so much of math is really a game if you think about it the right way. It can be a lot of fun if you're not actually taking a test. That's usually not very fun. What's another way I could get negative 3? So it was kind of easy to just have two things that sort of add up to 3. But how about something a little bigger? So say if I had, for example, negative 8x and let's say positive 5x. See what I'm doing here? Negative 8 and positive 5, that's a way of making negative 3. Alright, inner plus outer equals middle. So again, if I want my inner to be negative 8, then this would have to be negative 8. Alright, inner. If I want my outer to be positive 5x, then this would have to be positive 5. These multiplied together will give me c. Negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. So that would make c negative 40. Okay, so c is negative 40 in this example. Okay, and so what do I have? So I already factored it again, so x minus 8, x plus 5. Okay, so there's another example. Alright, let's do one more just for fun. One more. Okay, one more way of making negative 3x. Alright, let's see, smaller numbers. Okay, how about just negative 4x and positive 1x? Alright, that would make negative 3. Alright, just any combo that makes negative 3 will get you an answer. If I want inner of negative 4x, I would need negative 4 right here. If I want outer of positive 1, then I need positive 1 right here, because that's outer. C is what you get when you multiply these together. So negative 4 times positive 1 would give me negative 4. So boom, there you go. And I already have the factored form. x minus 4, x plus 1. Okay, x minus 4 times x plus 1. Okay, so as you can see, there are many answers. Okay, alright, so this is just one example. So come up with your own answer for this problem. That's long enough for one video. I'm going to stop the video here. It's just over 15 minutes. So we'll pick up with part 3 with problem number 13. Okay, this stuff is pretty fun. I dig it. I'll see you on the next video.